My name is Yasmin.
I am Eric T. Sr., and this is CEO of Herbal Blessings, EJ.
Who has the banana in his hand. Excited again to come on our porch and talk to you all about some of the questions that you send us via email and via our social media inboxes. So if you have a question and you think it's something that we should share with the world, please definitely send it to us. We're going to switch things up this time, and Eric is going to ask the questions, and he's going to help me answer them. Spider. So,
today we got some topics that were sent to us in our inbox, and one question was about controlling blood pressure.
okay.
What can you do to control your blood pressure and manage it?
Manage it. So managing blood pressure is, as my husband would say, one of our favorite things to talk to people about at Herbal Blessings. So when you come into Herbal Blessings, we have a candid conversation with you. So that's kind of how I'm going to start this off. If you have high blood pressure issues, or you know someone who has high blood pressure issues, I kind of describe it as when you are trying to have a water hose. And if you squeeze the water hose and you make the actual hole smaller, the blood goes faster, right? The water comes out faster. That's the same thing with your arteries and your veins. But it's not the holes being gripped tighter. It's really the plaque that's in your arteries and your veins that can cause your blood to actually not shoot out, but to circulate faster, which is how someone can calculate having high blood pressure. So that's just a simple way to look at it. Or you can have low blood pressure. And so either one of those is just not proper blood circulation and proper blood flow. And so when you come to Herbal Blessings, we talk to you about your diet first. We are a plant-based advocates. And so if you research benefits of high blood pressure for a plant-based diet, you will find that you will be able to loosen the plaque in your arteries and your veins, because you're not adding additional cholesterol to your diet.
That's right.
The only way we get cholesterol is from animal fat and protein. I'm going to say that again. The only way you receive bad cholesterol, which is the HDL, right, is by eating different foods. So our food is our first medicine. So reducing or eliminating totally processed meat, any kind of dead flesh would be awesome for someone who is serious about managing their blood pressure better. The second thing we talk about is the digestive system and how important it is for you to remove unwanted waste and toxins from your colon, which also can leak into your bloodstream, which can cause your blood to be acidic and carry different things to the body that they don't need. Your body is supposed to carry, blood is supposed to carry nutrients and oxygen to different parts of your body. But if it doesn't have a whole lot of that, what is it carrying to those different parts of your body? So we talk about your digestive system. We have a digestive and excretory blend that we recommend for anybody who has high blood pressure, in addition to providing you with the minerals that your body needs. And so our 102, our essential blend is the most popular. That's with bladderwrack and sea moss. And our 102 blend is going to provide you with 102 minerals your body is made of, which is burdock root, sea moss, and bladderwrack. I look at him to make sure that I'm saying this right, but he's trained me pretty well. And so listening to Eric, I've noticed that individuals with high blood pressure do not realize how poor meat is. And so we have this scale in our head, right? Pork is the worst meat. Beef is the next worst meat, chicken is the next worst meat, and then you have fish. And so people say, oh, well, I eat lean chicken and I eat lean fish. It's still dead. It still has cholesterol. It still is flesh. So we don't really have a hierarchy of meat. I used to think that, just like everybody else, that pork was the worst. But if you left a pack of chicken outside on the sidewalk, and we left it for hours, if we come back to it, it's going to be full of maggots and parasites.
Right.
And last time I checked, our insides were a lot hotter than the average Mississippi heat day, wherever you live, right? Unless you live in the Sahara Desert, your body is much hotter than the average day that you're experiencing for 8 or 9 hours in a day, right? And so same thing with our bodies. When we put those things in our bodies and it sits there and it has to rot and digest, and it can take up to, some people say red meat can take up to a month to digest. imagine what it's releasing as it is going through the body. And so anybody with high blood pressure, we would say, look at our high blood pressure package.
So you telling me that at Herbal Blessings, we can get them a high blood pressure package that's going to help cleanse, see that? Doing something you got no business doing. Cleanse their colon.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to help clean their blood too.
Mm-hmm.
Clean their arteries, their veins.
Mm-hmm.
And help them balance their blood pressure naturally.
Yep. Second question, baby daddy.
So the second question that we have is a very much important question in today's time. Since the beginning of the year, actually, immune health. We had a young lady that asked, what can they do to strengthen their and support their immune system?
Okay. First thing I would say would be making sure that your colon is in order for your immune system. We have several different options. Some people are occasionally constipated, some people are chronically constipated, and so we have different products that range from that. So we have Senna-T for people that are like occasionally constipated. That'll help to boost your immune system. And then we have some two items like Smooth Move and Relax and Digest and Digestive and Excretory System blends that are for people that are chronically constipated. So that's the first thing. Second thing, one of my favorite products and one of our second products that we ever created as Herbal Blessings is our elderberry elixir. And when I started looking for elderberry for my son, I noticed that there was a lot of elderberry that was watered down, that was full of chemicals and full of sugar. So it was confusing to me why you would give a child, or anybody for that matter, a drug known as sugar that we know creates mucus when we're trying to break down mucus and not have as much in our bodies in order for us to be able to catch the germ,
Which
right?
means it's weakening the immune system too, right?
It's not helping, right? And so it was ironic to me that when I told Eric, I said, every single one I'm looking at on the market has either a lot of preservatives in it, where if I don't buy it this month, someone else can buy it in 9 months and it will be exactly the same. So that bothered me. And then the sugar bothered me. And then the fact that some of them were watered down. The first ingredient was not elderberry. The 10th ingredient was elderberry. And we're going to go to the store probably really soon so we could talk about how to read food labels. But we all know that the first thing on an ingredient label is going to be what they have the majority of, right? And so if water or vegetable glycerin is the first thing I see, and on the front it says, packed with elderberry, full of antioxidants. But elderberry is the 10th ingredient on the label.
Speaking of sea moss,
Yes.
we have a few people, well, a lot of people actually, that inbox us asking about children's health and mineral deficiencies. What can you tell us or tell the people about what we can do to help keep our children healthier in these times?
So kids, I think most parents are very concerned about their young people, but I think that because we were raised a certain kind of way, we're just not aware that the standard American diet does not provide our kids with the proper foundation that they need in order for their brain to properly develop and for them to be able to be more on the front lines of being more preventative if they do decide to put their face on the ground and roll around in the store, which we know happens, right? And so that thinking about all the people that have walked on it and done whatever on that floor, the best thing you can do is kind of keep your young person covered. So one of my favorite things is sea moss for young people. It doesn't have the same heavy metals that bladderwrack has in it, so it's extremely safe for kids. We've been giving EJ sea moss since he was in the womb, as far as my prenatal.
That's right.
And so what I've noticed differently about EJ compared to a lot of young people his age is that his ability to be able to recognize and to analyze is really sharp. He will be 3 in November. However, most people think that he's 4, going on 5. And so it's not because he sits in front of a lot of flashcards all day and he is in intensive school, because that is the opposite of his life. It's because he's able to catch on the frequencies of other people because he's highly in tune, because he has a high frequency diet. That's what we're talking about, that low frequency, right? So when you have a high frequency diet, you are more aware of your surroundings. And so he learns from everyone. The entire world is his school. And so when he goes to Herbal Blessings, he'll come back with 3 or 4 different new words that he heard a customer possibly say. I wasn't paying attention to the customer. EJ was paying attention to the dialogue between maybe his dad and the customer. And he'll come home and he'll say, Mom, I know about Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye is a gemstone. Have I taught him about Tiger's Eye? Absolutely not, right? We learn about ABCs in 1, 2, 3. But here's a young person who's fully aware of things because he's living a high frequency diet. So if you're noticing that your young person is not hitting certain milestones, it really is not a time to beat yourself up. It's a time to really do a lot of research. And I would say you can look at different mineral deficiencies that are dealing with that young person's issue. So often I'll talk to a mom that'll say, you know what, they want to put my son on medication. He has ADHD. Or my daughter doesn't say very few words and she's almost 4. Or my son is always sick. We're always at the urgent care every other month. And so for parents that are like those, I would say, first, kudos to you for even noticing the pattern. And the second thing is that it's so possible. They're so young that their taste buds have not been compromised as much as ours have. So some of them might be sugar fiends, but if you're talking about a 1 or 2 year old and you're just introducing foods to them, it really is an exciting time for you and your baby.